Allons-y.
Let's do
What's up,
this.
Kevin?
Okay. What's up, man? How are you, Mateo?
Good. I'm doing well. Ça va?
Oui, oui. Oh shit, mon caméra, mon microphone est en train de bouger. But yeah.
No. That's good, man. That's good. Or are you prêt to parler de l'affaire et la jante, le vin?
What?
I tried. I haven't done French in a while. Are you ready to talk about business and like money and sales?
Yeah, let's get started. Where do you want to get started?
Well, basically, man. Well, first off, like Kevin and I, we met what 2 weeks ago was our first call, something like that,
Mm.
and hit it off right away. But yeah, I want to know more about your what got you into this. You're doing sales right now, and then you're also doing consulting work, right, as a cyber security analyst.
Yeah, exactly. So it all started when I was 13. So at 13, what I did is I made my first horror game. I mean, I just took other people's code and just made it my own, as any like teenager would do. And then
Yeah.
eventually I got to a point where I was like, oh, I'll try this like web development thing. And so I tried it, but I realized like I'm not really that good at coding. And yeah, I'm not very that good at coding. So let's try something new. So eventually I got to a point where I was in high school. I was trying to figure out what to do. And I got into an opportunity where I could either work at this cloud computing, like a vendor at a cloud computing company,
Uh-huh.
or go to college as any other person would. I was like, let's take the risk. If this doesn't go well, I can still go to university and then get that done. But I want to try it because if I don't try it, I won't know the outcome. So I did that for 10 months, and now I'm doing cybersecurity. And then I have so much free time because it's the standard 95. I'm doing the sales on the side because it gives even more income.
Right. Yeah. The sales, is that a muscle you learned you could do when you just got into it, or how did you figure out you could do sales?
Yeah, so with sales, like I've always been unconsciously selling people, and all of selling is just people skills and having the social skills. So
Right.
after high school, like I realized if I truly believe in something and I have a passion for it, I could sell anyone I want. And so really it's all about going from unconscious selling to conscious selling. And when you're
Mm.
doing sales, you're doing like 90% of it is conscious selling. So conscious selling basically. So a lot of it like I already done in the past, but it's more about like understanding that that's what I'm doing right now, and it's like there's a goal oriented thing in every sales situation.
Right, right. That's a key distinction. Yeah, you kind of do have to have the personality for it. I guess you're like you're saying you're unconsciously doing it for years, and then to have a product or a service they believe in and direct that energy, that natural ability towards it, it gives you so many results. So, what were you selling for your first thing you were selling?
Well, the first thing I was selling was for a PR agency, and basically that was like the highest ticket selling that I did at the beginning of my career as a high ticket closer. It wasn't that fun because like PR is pretty like boring, and they make you like memorize everything about the packages. But
Yeah.
it got the foot in the door. So basically, it allowed for more opportunities to come in after that initial opportunity.
Awesome. Nice. And so, is there a reason why you're doing both right now? Do you want to go more towards one direction or the other? Or what's the game plan there?
So I've always liked cybersecurity. I want to keep improving, keep mastering it. But sales is
Mhm.
such an important thing that I'll have to master if I want to make my own business. So I really want to master that, scale that to six, even possibly seven figures, and then do that eventually full time. But for now, I want to like sales is cool, but cybersecurity is something that's also going to be in the future. So it's very important to learn about that as well.
Nice. Okay. Cool. And the cybersecurity aspect, is that what you went to school for? Is that also like what is the aspect there with cybersecurity? Why'd you focus on that area?
So I always liked tech, and like right after my first tech job, I realized that like whenever I would work on the security side of things, I would have a talent for it, and it's something I was truly passionate about.
Mm,
So I'm starting to apply to jobs, going to interviews relating to cybersecurity, and that's where I got the job that I'm at right now. And that's something I like. That's I'm passionate about it. I put in 10, 12 hours work weeks if I want. I mean, work days if I want to, because
mhm.
that's like truly something I like. And I started this straight out of high school. Like I finished high school, I did a few like self-taught courses,
Nice.
applied to a bunch of jobs, and then the first one came in and I took a chance with
Dude, amazing. Yeah. Hell yeah, man.
it.
Dude, so you just went right balls to the wall, just did it. And
Exactly.
the idea I have about cybersecurity, tell me if it's correct or not, but is it mostly like, is it phishing? Is that the biggest problem you have to fight, like phishing emails, or what is it? Is it like people trying to hack into like the infrastructure of your company, or what?
So it really depends like where you, like which field of cyber you're in. But
Mm,
like a lot of like the common attack vectors is phishing, as you mentioned. So like protecting against hackers, or like making sure you get rid of the false positive that might be in like an organization.
gotcha, gotcha. Okay, cool, cool. So how long have you been doing both this, like balancing both?
So cybersecurity, I've been doing it for around 8 months now. And then high ticket closing, I've been doing it for 2 months now.
Nice. Oh, dude, nice, nice. So, is there any kind of field you like to get into in sales? Because I, just like you, I had a PR agency I was selling for, and then I am right now I'm selling for some ecom guys and their automated stores. Is ecom something you're interested in, or is any industry you'd like to get into?
So eventually, like with the networking that I'm doing every single day, basically, I want to go into the influencer marketing type companies, or the fitness one, but influencer marketing more because I get to meet like-minded people like myself, celebrities, influencers, and those are connections that you can only really get from influencer marketing. And that's
Yeah.
why I want to eventually divert to that industry, get that experience, get those connections, which will definitely help me when I want to make my own business.
Oh, beautiful, man. Yeah, that you got your heart in the right place because attention is one of the most sought after things right now. The markets we're in right now, if you can capture people's attention, that means dollar bills, man.
Mhm.
Actually, I was very blessed that when I first got into sales, my first sales experience ever, it was actually my first time ever doing this because I had a corporate job and then I quit. And then when I was looking to get back into something, I was like, I don't want to jump into the corporate world just yet. Let me see what I can do. I've met some really cool people. And so thankfully with the connections, like you're saying, if you can tap into your network, that's why networking pays off so much. The first guy I like chatted with about an opportunity was to do appointment setting at first, which was really cool. And I'm glad I got my feet wet doing that. But at the same time, within like a month, no, within like a week or two, I was like, hey, I can also close for you, by the way. And so I was closing for this guy too. And he's actually Chet Hanks, like Tom Hanks' son. So I was closing for him. And he's really cool, very smart business mind. But like you said, once you get into those spheres, you get to meet really cool people, and they have such a big audience. And it's like, that's like inbound selling. It's so much easier than outbound selling. So it's, it's the best. But again, there's all different types of industries and types of celebrities. What kind of celebrities? Maybe you don't want to name names. But what kind of industries and celebrities and influencers are you trying to work with? Do you have something in mind?
So I would say more of like the fitness influencers and
Uh,
any like success oriented influencers. Like I've met, it's funny how like when you have your mind on something, things naturally like let's say manifest or like happen. Like
right,
literally a week ago, I met two fitness influencers at the gym and I networked with them. And then that's a connection I've built just from like improving my sales skills, improving my networking skills. So
right.
definitely like naturally it's way easier for me to have connections with fitness influencers because I already have a passion and an expertise in fitness.
Hmm. Nice. Yeah. Do you want to get jacked and work with Jocko Willnick and those?
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
That'd be cool, man. So right now, have you broken 10K a month? Is that a figure that you want to meet, or have you already met that?
Yeah, so far the first month I've hit 10K a month, and this is USD. So like Canadian, it's a bit different, but 10K a month, and then the goal for next month is 15K a month, and then keep that consistently until 2024. Because I have a plan to go to Ibiza in June, and Ibiza is not cheap, so it definitely like I need to get my A game so I can afford for that type of stuff.
Dude, that's the best. Setting goals and that makes it more realistic, dude. I'm gonna see you in Visa. I know we just met so recently, but we're already making plans.
Yeah, we're already
Little,
planning it, so you're gonna be in Ibiza either way.
yeah, man. I'm in the Paris group chat. You threw me in the Paris group chat.
Mm.
That's before or after Visa.
That is after Ibiza, because one of the guys that is in that group chat is possibly co-hosting an event in Paris. It's called The
Okay.
Experience, and basically he hosts this like I don't know if you're familiar with Old Money, but basically he
Yeah.
hosts these very like interesting luxury bourgeoisie type events, and he's like a super smart guy, super like he's on the path to success, and he gives like very interesting and like unimaginable experiences. So I want to have him on board, and if we can make it happen for Paris, it's going to be the best experience of everyone's life.
Alonzi, man. Let's go. I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is meeting people, is that something you've done recently with sales? Are you meeting more salespeople? Are you like more intentional with who you're networking with? Or are you just like you're saying in the gym, you're meeting everybody. Like who have you been spending your time with the most recently? And how has that reflected on your life?
So I've always believed in the notion like the five people that you most spend time with are the people that you're gonna be. It was I forgot who said it, but like the people you spend most time with, let's say it's four people, you're probably going to be the fifth one. So if you surround yourself with winners and successful people, you're eventually going to be a successful person. Or, for example, a notion that one man once said is if you're in a group of full of ice cream experts, you're going to eventually know something about how to make ice cream. So basically, it's a notion about someone says, and I think you know who I'm talking about. But
We'll clip that. What were you saying?
yeah, so perfect. So what I'm saying is like when you surround yourself with the people that you want to like basically grow and succeed with, you're
Yeah.
gonna eventually get to that level. And like one of the things I always preach and tell everyone is networking is literally the most important part of the game, basically. If you have networking in check, everything is gonna go well. It's not about what you know. It's well, I mean, it is about what you know, but it's most importantly about who you know. Because once you know like the most successful people and have like friendships with them or like the connections with people who have the expertise and the skills you're looking for, you're
Mhm.
able to really grow a team and build it because you already know the people who have what you need in your own team.
That's so good. That's so true. Yeah. And at the end of the day, you want to be able to look forward to working with these people. You want to like your team and you want your team to
Hmm.
like you back and you want to have that synergy there. That,
Hmm.
yeah, so true. And you know what? As even you yourself, not as an employer wanting to work with these people, you as the employee or as the team member, you want to be able to tap into that synergy. So you got to put yourself out there. You can't be shy and be scared to network. You got to really extend yourself.
Hmm. And that's like one of the things like back when I mean we're both in Tribe, but when I started with Tribe, I was so I wouldn't say socially awkward because I had like some decent social skills, but it wasn't something I was used to. And
Uh,
definitely like the first calls I had from Tribe were like I was very awkward. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what questions to ask. I didn't know how to act. But eventually with practice, you get to know the basics of human psychology, if that makes sense, and
right.
understand how you should speak to a person depending on like if they're an introvert, if they're an extrovert. If they're an introvert, it's more about like even if we're extrovert, it's more about asking the right question and really trying to understand the person. It's the same thing in sales situation. If you really want to increase your closing rate and be good at sales, you have to understand the potential client, who they are, what their needs are, and truly understand their pain point and how possibly your solution is going to help. Because, like, for example, the guy I close for right now, who has a program on how to become a high ticket closer.
Mhm.
If a person all they're interested about is just making money, but they don't want to do sales, then directly you know that that's not someone that would be good as a client. But if it's someone that, let's say, wants to do sales and wants to make some money, then that would be a potential good opportunity for them because you understand the pain point, you understand what they're facing, and you could connect that pain point with a solution that you can help them fix the issue.
Right, right. It's not even as you as the seller, it's not about making money because you're actually going to hurt yourself and the your person who hired you to sell. I think there's a really bad and honestly misinformed outlook on sellers and salesmen. Really, you're connecting people to the solution, and honestly, you can tell anyways if someone's like being sincere about what they're selling. Like, hey, I don't think we might not be the best solution for you right now. Let's just figure it out. Let's discover on this call together if this is actually what you need, and then we can tell
Mhm.
you if for you or not. Um, that's problem solving. That's you actually extending yourself and trying to understand the other person and sell it. And then, like you said, even on like a tone level, when I'm talking to an introverted caller or like a potential lead, and he's like, I can tell he's introverted, but shy. I like bring all this way down. And if I'm talking to an extrovert, I got to bring it back up. That's just being an ultimate humanist, I think. Like I feel like salespeople were so in touch with people's needs and those small details of humanity. I think I don't. I mean, I've definitely met some like really like aggressive salespeople, but I think for the most part, if you want to be an effective salesperson, like you're saying, with high close rate, you gotta be much more in touch with emotions and subtle cues and stuff like that. We're much nicer than you think.
And that's one of the things I told like one of my friends I had dinner with yesterday for his business is like if you want to have a higher closing rate and have like a really successful business, you have to basically try to be in the customer's shoes and
Right.
basically think about like if I was the customer, would I buy it for myself? Would I buy from the person that is trying to sell me this thing? And if the answer is no, well then you have the answer on why this person doesn't want to buy from you. But if the answer
Yeah.
is yes, or like maybe, or you can basically from there understand what gap you're missing and basically fill in that gap so that that answer goes from maybe to yes for closing the client.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. And that's what I love about capitalism. There's no central figure forcing some deal to happen or forcing you to take some resources. You as the buyer, especially nowadays where the buyer has so much power, you have to really do your job as a salesperson to like get them to see the product is valuable and like show them that it'll help their solution and then there's a match there. Capitalism is so cool in that way that it meets value with need immediately and you can get deals done and it's not forced at all. It's actually when you do it right, it's really beautiful. And then you have these beautiful testimonials later on of people like changing their lives and seeing the product like change people's lives. It's actually really fulfilling for you later on.
Hmm. Yeah, 100% agree. And that's like one of the like important points in like sales. There's no like cap. And Luke Alexander actually mentioned this. He's like a super successful high ticket closer. Is
Yeah.
that there's no cap on sales. You're either good at it and you succeed in it, or you're either lazy and you don't do the work and you don't make any money. Because at the end
Right.
of the day, sales is most of the time, depending on what position you get, for high ticket closing, it's commission based. So if you're not doing any work, you're not gonna make any money. But if you put
Mhm.
in like really, really good work and have a good closing rate, then I wouldn't say success is guaranteed, but you have a much bigger likelihood of succeeding in that field.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm just curious, what are some of your what are some common objections you've heard from leads you've talked to, and how did you get around those?
So the most common lead, and I feel like that's like a commonly anyone gets, is like,
Uh-huh.
oh, like I don't have enough money like right now. And most of the time, also it depends on the person, and that's something to consider. But most of the time, the person just does not trust like your product or wants to like test drive first to make sure. And that's why testimonials are very important. Because if you show like, hey, like if you worried that you're not getting your money's worth, we have this money back guarantee. So
Mhm.
you're not satisfied, we'll give you your money back. and hey, like we have these testimonials of people who were in the same exact situation as you,
Yeah.
and we could potentially help you with that. And we have, I mean, now we have financing and split payments. So like if the full price doesn't work for you, we could always extend it over 3 months and just pay in split payments. One other thing also, like Luke Alexander mentioned, I actually use in my own situation is if someone says, for example, I'll think about it, which is another common objection, is like,
Yeah.
I completely understand, but on a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you like the product? And let's say it's a 7. And from there, like where, and it's called, I'm pretty sure it's called the scale of certainty or something like that. But basically, once you know that scale, you know what you need to fill in. And basically, the next question you would ask is, that's perfect. I understand. What would make it a 10? And if they
Mhm.
say, oh, like the price, or like, oh, like I don't, there's not enough testimonials, or oh, like that, there's always like either it's a belief issue or it's like something, there's something that is missing that they want to understand, and then you have to like try to solve what that like particular part, and once you solve it, that's when you're able to close the deal.
Exactly. They identified it for you. So instead of you just spewing out everything again, the whole laundry list, they basically identify what their reservation is, which is such a helpful way to help them out too.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, man,
exactly.
that's a really good one. I What really helped me with my close through rate was doing like some a bit reverse psychology, trying to like help them out, like because obviously there's a bit of resistance on these calls when you, I mean, understandably so, you're not sure what's going on. One of the things that helped me is doing this is kind of like Hormozy. Is like, well, are you against taking another call and going explore this a bit deeper? Like say like because people will be like, no, I'm not against it. No, I get so yeah. I mean, I guess I'm open to it. Yeah. So you know that kind of thing where you really want to just make it clear that you're trying to make it easier using semantics, whatever you can, to just make the conversation flow a bit easier. And so that's one of the
Hmm.
things that helped me a lot because if people are you against this or are you opposed to moving forward, like that's helped me out a ton. I don't know about you.
Hmm. And yeah, I completely agree. In that case, like you have to remember, like if when you're in a high ticket closing situation, the leads are already warm or hot, so they're either already interested in the product or already want to buy from the product. So a lot of the things is, and I told this to one of my friends I was talking to today is like, don't sell the product, sell the dream, because people,
Mm,
like inherently, if they don't know you, they don't care about your product, they care if it solves their issues. So if you're like
mm,
it, and so that's why like there's no, like if you don't put in the work, there's no guarantee for any program. So let's say like, for example, like this PR agency and someone wants to like have an article written about them. In that case, you don't sell the product, but you sell what the article will do for them. You sell the dream
yeah.
basically. And in that case, basically, you're what you would say is like this, like with what is gonna happen, you're gonna able to get more social proof. It'll be easier for your
Mhm.
business, and you'll be able to scale. You have possibly even get verified on Instagram, and you're basically giving so many, like you're tapping into the imagination of the person and letting them form their own idea of what your product would do for them, instead of you saying what the product would do with them.
Yeah, that's a powerful one. Exactly, Kevin. Yeah. Instead of focusing on the product and service, you're focusing on the outcome, the identity, the feelings, like that aspect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And what are some of your next things you got lined up here? What are aside from traveling? That sounds super exciting. I know you're gonna go to Coachella, right? So, but other than what's up with your personal life? What has sales done for you? And yeah, what's next for you?
So one of the things I had actually had a conversation with another sales guy yesterday is sales really changes like all your stuff, like networking wise, social
Yeah.
skills wise, even dating wise. Surprisingly, like I could never do cold approaches before until I started sales.
Mm,
It's because you start speaking to random people and like, oh, like if I do this, like this wouldn't be as scary as people make it seem. So now, like, I'm not at a point where I would be fulfilled with my dating life, but it's much better since joining Tribe and like doing sales and
Yeah,
all of that stuff. But what I'm most excited for the future is the networking, because with the trips I'm doing, they're very strategic in that in every place I do, I know I'm going to grow as a person. It's going to help me more succeed. And I'm going to meet like minded, successful people that will help me grow in that step in my life.
that's so good. That's so good. You're translating real life, man. Let's go.
Yeah.
Warm leads. You already have a CRM of your own.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Have you heard Arlen talk about the circuit? He calls it the circuit.
I think I heard of it, but I probably forgot. Yeah.
It's basically what you just said, man. It's certain high value people, and they travel with the exact same thought in mind. They want to connect with other high value people, and so with the summer and the winter, like the hemispheres, they switch, right? So you could live in summer year round if you'd like. And so some people do what's known as a circuit. They'll spend January in Utah or something, or like in Miami, whatever. And then in the summer, they'll spend it in Europe. And then in the fall, they go down to Cape Town. And then in the winter, they'll spend it some other place. There's a few like circuits where people, the hot pockets during certain times of the years, they'll be there. So if you want to collab and rub elbows with these people, that's what you want to do. So that's basically what you're doing, man. With what you're telling me, you're lining up Coachella, for instance, is gonna be great, and you're meeting a lot of people, and then you're doing all these cold outreach, like you're saying. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm most excited for Ibiza because like the last week of June, apparently like a bunch of celebrities, a bunch of influencers, a bunch of like famous DJs are gonna be there. And
Yeah,
the goal is like be so good at networking that I would naturally be invited to like the invite only events where those people are. And from
yeah,
there network with them and just build out those connections from there.
yeah. Make it organic, effortless. You want to absorb people, not chase people. That's what scares people away, and it's disingenuous also.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Kevin. Well, that was a lot of fun, man. It was good talking to you, and yeah, man. I'll see you in the tribe calls.
Perfect. Thanks so much, man. It was great talking to you.
Yeah, man. So
Have a
how
good
can
day.
people follow you and reach out with you if they have any questions about sales and such?
Yeah, so my username on Instagram is Kevin Babiuk. So if you ever have any questions, I'm more than happy to help. Just reach me at that and yeah, we could talk.
All right, brother. You take care, man. I'll see you.
Take care. Have a good one.